I'm going to go ahead and go live just so that we could chit chat a little bit before the initial time was supposed to come. Give it a few minutes and we'll talk. And so, how are you doing today, Cash? Doing okay? I like what you say right here about protecting the vulnerable. I'm so glad you're here too. Hello. Guess I could get off of that and right there. You having a good day today? No, you're. What time is it there where you're at, Cash? It is close to like a couple minutes. Oh, okay. So it's you're not your day's almost over, isn't it? I'm not sure whether or not y'all have heard the story that I'm going to be discussing today. It's a married couple, Zachary Zulock and William Zulock, adopted two boys and sexually abused them. It's just now beginning. So you're a night owl then, right? Go ahead and do this copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. These two boys, they did not deserve it. They were adopted from a Christian disabilities agency. Fair use, people. That's right. I like fair use. How about you? Hello. I hope that you can see my screen now. The Georgia couple accused of sexually abusing adopted boys. The husband bragged about molesting his son. Think about that. He bragged about it. The Georgia couple allegedly engaged in sexually abusive acts against their adopted boys and tried to recruit others to participate, according to an indictment obtained by Town Hall. I'll go back up to that in a few minutes. A Georgia couple is being accused of sexually abusing their adopted children and using them to produce homemade child pornography. Prosecutors allege, according to a new report, Zachary Zulock and William Zulock were arrested July 27th in Oxford, Georgia, after police raided their home and found video evidence that they were engaging in sexually abusive acts with the adopted children. So they got the evidence, they got the videos. The people recorded it themselves. These sickos recorded it themselves. They got the evidence. Exactly. The couple is now facing a grand jury indictment under charges of felony sexual exploitation of children, aggravated child molestation, felony prostitution of a minor, aggravated sodomy, and incest, amounting to possibly 9 life sentences, according to court documents obtained. And whether or not they serve it, let's see. Both men had pled not guilty. They pled not guilty. You see that? They pled not guilty, yet they got the video evidence of it. Attorney did not immediately respond to Fox News. Here is where the two men are. Zachary Zulock and William Zulock were arrested on July 17th in Oxford, Georgia. Yeah. After police raided their home and found video evidence that they were engaging in sexually abusive acts with the adopted children. And it's kind of sad because if they're also known as disabled children, that's even worse. It's bad enough that they're doing this to children, but boy, trying to keep myself from getting too angry here. According to the indictment, the boys, both in third and fourth grade at the time of the arrest, were sexually abused by the couple who anally raped the minors in addition to performing oral sex on them. Oh, yeah. The indictment also alleges that the couple forced the boys to perform oral sex on them, and on case and I guess it's supposed to be an on case the older sibling was injured due to the anal rape. I think they meant to put in on one case, and then on one case. I guess that's what it meant to say. The documents state that the Zulock sexual abuse of the children dates back to potentially 2019. According to the report, the boys were adopted in November 2018 when the couple went through a now shut down Christian adoption agency focusing on special needs children in Watkinsville, Georgia, called All God's Children Incorporated. William Zulock allegedly admitted to forcing the couple's 11-year-old adopted son to perform an act of sodomy, oral capitulation, with the intent to satisfy his own sexual desire. Police wrote in an affidavit obtained. Here's the two. In a press release posted, excuse me, on Facebook, when the couple was first arrested, police said that they were tipped off after a Georgia Bureau of Investigation detective received information about someone who may have been downloading child sexual abuse material. After an investigation and interview with a suspect, police found that there was a secondary suspect who was producing homemade child sexual abuse material with at least one adopted child who lived in the home with the perpetrator. Exactly. That you're just being honest there. Another affidavit states that Zachary Zulock filmed his husband, William Zulock, performing acts of sexual abuse on the child. Zachary is accused of being engaged in sexually abusive acts on the boy as well, the affidavit states. Whoopsie daisy. I scrolled too far. Sorry about that. Sickening, y'all. Very sickening. Okay. Zachary allegedly told police in a recorded interview that the routine sexual abuse of their children was sent to less than a dozen people. Even if you sent to one person, that's too many. Even you just doing an act, that's too much, you sickos. The men were also charged with soliciting two other men through social media to perform an act of prostitution on one of their children. The documents state, adding that Hunter Clay Lawless, age 27, and Luis Armando Vizcarro Sanchez, 25, were both part of the prostitution ring. Yep. Lawless told police that he received numerous Snapchat messages from Zachary, which allegedly said effing his son tonight, telling him to be prepared to get images and video documentation of the sexual abuse. Court documents state, adding that the men met on the gay hookup app Grindr. Exactly. Sickening. And he actually said, I'm going to F my son tonight. Stand by. Zachary messaged Lawless, according to prosecutors. Lawless told police that he didn't engage in sexual contact with the Zulock's children, but said that Zachary asked him to participate multiple times. No, I would want to kill somebody. I definitely would. A folder titled U.S. on Zachary's phone was found by law enforcement and allegedly contained videos of his husband William participating in acts of sexual abuse on one of the children. Yeah, that's sick, ain't it? To have to go and investigate these cases. Included in the evidence collected by law enforcement are the 149 images, a text message from Lawless, a Snapchat letter, and sexual assault nurse examination results conducted on the children that court documents state. So basically, they got the proof behind the pudding with the medical evidence. Before I get out of that, I need to go to the top to this video up here. And I'll have to stop my mic for a minute so that you'll be able to hear. You'll be able to hear. Change the settings.
If you are type 2 and take metformin, well, check your feet and legs for these two things that I'm going to show you in this video right now. So, for anyone...
When Balenciaga released that disturbing ad campaign last month, which featured a young girl holding a teddy bear in bondage gear, people thankfully reacted. Balenciaga's parent company, called Kering, saw its stock price plummet compared to its rivals, as you can see on your screen right now. But the sexualization of children is continuing anyway, even though no one wants this garbage. Gucci just released an ad featuring the singer Harry Styles posing with a child's mattress. He's also wearing a pink teddy bear shirt. And Benetton just posted photos of kids in underwear. What's going on here? Robbie Starbuck is the host of the Robbie Starbuck Show and joins us now. Robbie, good to see you. I mean, I got to tell you what. I mean, this is the most outrageous thing that we're sexualizing children for the sale of adult clothing. What do you make of this?
It's absolutely outrageous, Sean. And let me just say, you know, it's easy to reflexively jump to attacking the left for this because this comes from their woke ideology. Yeah. But the truth is, it's time for the rest of America to look in the mirror because silent majorities kill nations. And the silent majority we have here in America is incredibly dangerous because silent majorities allow really crazy extreme minorities to then go rule with very loud voices. Right. And when they do that, this is the outcome. You allow these loud voices in the room to rule over everyone, and worse yet, the media and every pillar of culture and entertainment and everything else, they came together to manufacture that silence. And not only that, they somehow convinced us that being a silent majority was a good thing. That has to change in order for us to fix this culture, and people need to speak up, frankly. They've got to be loud and proud with their values and with rejecting values like this and saying we are not going to allow the sexualization of kids in America, period. There is no discussion. We're not going to go to the table and say let's negotiate. There's no negotiation here. We will not allow this in America, and until we all step up and say that and have these uncomfortable conversations, I fear we're going to see more of this. And, you know, with my career from Hollywood directing Oscar-winning actors, actresses, some of the biggest music stars, I can tell you none of this is a mistake. The idea that this is just one or two bad people, that's not how this works. The number of people who have to sign off on ad campaigns like this is immense. They know what they're doing. The truth is they just don't care. They don't care about the safety of kids or the sexualization of kids. They care about manufacturing kids who will turn into adults that are a part of their woke agenda. And they know that if they groom them now, it's more likely they'll be with them later. And that's why we all need to stand up.
You know, Robbie, a moment ago we had the video from Benetton, or the photo of the Benetton. I mean, these are like 9-year-old girls. We blurred out most of it. But they're standing in sexual poses in underwear. I mean, if you see this full screen, it is absolutely outrageous. And I can't help but think that not only are we sexualizing kids, but we're normalizing pedophilia, that adults should be attracted to young children, which, by the way, Robbie, this makes children the target of people who want to do bad things against these children, sexual acts towards these children, as opposed to a culture that would say, you know what? We're made to protect children. We're to make sure that we put those pedophiles behind bars. We put them in jail. We don't encourage pedophiles with ads like this.
Yeah, and I would pose this question to people. When has a nation existed that was permissive of this type of sexualization of children and accepted pedophilia and lasted? Nations don't last when you take the most vulnerable and you say, you know what, let the monsters eat them up. And that's what we're essentially doing. And it's being backed up by academia. And then when you look at further into that backstop, governments across the globe, the UN, they're all a part of this idea that there should be a child rights agenda where kids should have the right to sexualization or to have sex changes or have sex with adults. And the truth is there is no sex with adults. You can't do that. It's rape, okay? And they don't want to talk about that, but they're doing this in third world countries. They want to bring it here, and we've got to reject it. If we don't, we're in big, big trouble. And if people want to help this, they can go to places like freedomforever.us and help organizations like that who are fighting this on the ground every day.
You know, Robbie, those people who want to make that transition, one, they're sickos themselves, or they've never had a 9-year, 10-year, 14-year-old little girl to think that they should be sexualized. One good thing coming out of this is that moms left and right of all political stripes are standing up and pushing back to protect their little girls. Thank God for that. Robbie Starbuck, thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Paramedic had told me that that everything she was okay, everything was okay. She just needed to check on her. And I hurried up and shut the door because I figured if she's gonna be taken to the hospital, I didn't want her to try to get me to watch her cats and nothing like that. She done burnt that bridge. I'm not gonna do anything to assist her in her sickness. She has uh, a lot of health issues, diabetics and everything. You know, I don't mind cats, but dang, when there's at least 7 that usually she got in her apartment, and then there's at least 5 or 6 that's outside, but she sticks the ones back outside, and look how many's on my front porch. And they're not used to being outside, and so they're climbing everybody's doors just to like, let me in, let me in, let me in, you know. And it's like, you're not my responsibility, cat. You know, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it. I have 150 to pay a pet deposit. Plus I'm allergic to you, so you better just go on, you know. So silly. Gonna get in here even more information here. And listen at this. It says gay couple charged with molesting their adopted sons also pimped them out to pedophile ring, report says. We gave this credit to this news at New York Post by Yaron Steinbuch. A gay couple from Georgia charged with molesting their two adopted sons and using them to record child porn also allegedly pimped them out to members of a local pedophile ring, according to a disturbing new report. Wow, pimped them out to a pedophile ring. Let's see. Where's Mad Greek photo? I don't know. Oh, estimated, and it says in Sitka last. It's different news stories right there across it, and this news story right here was talking about accused Idaho killer Brian Koberg reportedly dined at a restaurant where two of the slain students worked as servers, but it was doing other things as well. That's a different story, a lot of different stories but they got that as the background photo. Okay. Exactly. That's the best thing to do. A months-long investigation by Town Hall revealed that William Dale Zulock, 33, and Zachary Jacoby Zulock, 35, allegedly used social media to prostitute their two elementary-aged sons. William Zulock, a government worker. See, he's a government worker. And Zachary Zulock, a banker, was indicted in August 2022 on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. But the shocking investigation reveals in more detail the sickening abuse the boys suffered. For the first time, it was revealed that the men allegedly pimped out their older sons, now 11 and 9, two of the men in a pedophile ring. One of the men, Hunter Clay Lawless, 27, told investigators that Zachary, whose Instagram bio describes him as Papa to our two wonderful boys, and an activist, invited him multiple times to take part in sexually abusing the boys. However, Lawless claimed he never had physical contact with either child. Exactly. Lawless also claimed Zachary sent him multiple messages on Snapchat, including one that allegedly read, "I'm going to F my son tonight. Stand by," along with images of himself sexually abusing the 11-year-old, according to the outlet. The two men were arrested on charges of soliciting an act of prostitution with the 11-year-old boy, according to the indictment. It's unclear whether Lawless and Armando Vizcarro Sanchez had any physical interactions with the boys. The Zulocks, who lived in Oxford, an affluent suburb of Atlanta, adopted the children from a Christian special needs adoption agency. The boys were in the third and fourth grades when their adopted fathers were arrested last summer. Here's the culprits right here. Here's the buttholes. Pedophiles, predators. Deputies responding to reports that a man was downloading child porn raided the home in Loganville, where they found evidence the pair were engaging in sexually abusive acts and video documenting this abuse, police said at the time. So, with them downloading child porn, they were busted because they got these new things where they can be traced when somebody starts downloading that stuff. Probably so. And anytime like this, you worry about I know a lot of people that had gay relationships, it's gay and stuff, and they ended up with AIDS. Their lover ended up with AIDS and dying and stuff. And you got the possibility of giving these things to your child as well. HIV. Deputies responded to reports that a man that's what it said, was downloading child porn, raided the home in Loganville, where they found evidence the pair were engaging in sexually abusing acts and video documenting it. So they were video recorded and documenting, and yet they're pleading innocence. They're pleading innocence, yet they themselves recorded the evidence needed. You know what I'm saying here? Yes. Thing about it is, when you go like this, though, and you force this upon your children, and you're using your gender thing to promote the sexuality and the trafficking ring through the LGBTQ community. That's what's wrong, okay? During the raid, William was pulled out of his home naked. The government worker had submitted to forcing one of his sons to perform oral sex on him with the intent to satisfy his own sexual desire, according to a sworn affidavit cited by the Daily Wire. Yep, and that's a picture, 2019 at the beach. His husband admitted sending child sexual abuse material to several people, according to the news outlet. The couple have been active in the local LGBTQ community. Prominent LGBTQ Publican magazine reportedly asked to feature their photos on its website, according to Daily Wire. Town Hall said it spent months reviewing recorded jailhouse calls, court documents, and a testimony from a relative who spoke exclusively with the outlet about the extent of the abuse, as well as the faster than expected adoption process that led to this nightmare. William and Zachary, who have pleaded not guilty, each face over 9 life sentences, as they should if convicted. They should be convicted. It's all on video. They did it themselves. They recorded themselves. They recorded themselves, so it's on video. Crazy people. And here's where the continues on with a gay couple allegedly pimped out, made child porn with adopted children investigation. Who this is? I don't know who this is speaking. The Legacy of Roe. Okay. It there goes with a shocking investigation has reportedly uncovered disturbing new details about a gay activist couple in Georgia who are charged with raping their adopted sons and pimping them out. Wow. A months-long town hall investigation published Tuesday viewed recorded jailhouse calls and new court documents and spoke exclusively to a family member, revealing that the alleged sexual abuse went much deeper than previously reported. The investigation will have 3 more installments, town hall said. The married couple, William Dale Zulock Jr., 33, a government worker, and his husband, Zachary Jacoby Zulock, 35, a banker, were arrested last summer on charges of sodomizing their 2 elementary age sons and prostituting their children. Yeah, so he got caught with his hand in the image, huh? They were indicted by a grand jury on charges of incest, aggravated sodomy, aggravated child molestation, felony sexual exploitation of children, and felony prostitution of a minor. If convicted, they face more than 9 life sentences each. both men had pled not guilty. The Zulocks adopted the brothers, now 9 and 11, from a Christian special needs adoption agencies. Before their arrest, the couple lived an affluent life in Oxford, Georgia, an Atlanta suburb. The children were enrolled in third and fourth grade when their adoptive fathers were arrested. According to the 17-count indictment, the two men allegedly performed oral sex on both their adopted sons, forced the boys to perform oral sex on them, and raped their sons anally. At least once, the older boy was allegedly injured from the anal rape. The sexual abuse allegedly began in the late 2019, became worse in 2021, the indictment states. William has since admitted to forcing his 11-year-old adopted son to perform oral copulation on him with the intent to satisfy his own sexual desires. According to a sworn affidavit, Zachary had admitted sending child sexual abuse material to less than a dozen people. They were arrested after police received a tip that a man at the Zulock residence was downloading child pornography. The Walton County Sheriff's Office issued a search warrant and raided the home just before midnight on July 27th. During the raid, Zachary was reportedly tackled to the ground and William was pulled out of the house naked. I don't know much more than what is being shown, but they're still in jail. According to the report, police found evidence the men were sexually abusing the children and video documenting the abuse, and both men were booked at the local jail early the next morning. They're currently being held separately while awaiting their trial. Zachary is under maximum security at Barrow County Detention Center due to the nature of the charges, a jail staffer told Town Hall. The Zilocks had been a prominent presence in a gay activism scene. In 2014, they marched in Atlanta's Pride Parade. The Out and Out magazine, a well-known LGBTQ publication, has repeatedly asked to feature their photos on its website. Zachary's Snapchat profile includes activists. They both need to be, don't they? The Zulocks are also charged with soliciting two other men to perform an act of prostitution with the older boy, according to the indictment. The two other men are Hunter Clay Lawless, 27, and Luis Armando Vizcarro Sanchez, 25. Both men are from Loganville, Georgia, slightly north of where the Zulocks lived. According to Town Hall, Lawless told police Zachary invited him multiple times to join in sexually abusing his two adopted sons. However, Lawless never had physical contact with either child, he claimed. Well, even if they exposed themselves and did the sexual acts in front of the kids, guess what? They would still be responsible for that. Lawless also says Zachary sent him numerous messages on Snapchat, including one that allegedly read, "I'm going to F my son tonight, stand by," followed by pictures of Zachary sexually abusing his 11-year-old son. A relative of Zachary's side a relative on Zachary's side who spoke to Town Hall said the Zulocks' lavish lifestyle began about a year after the men adopted the boys. The couple's house, vehicles, and other assets had now been seized by the state. What a narcissistic sociopath, the relative said of Zachary, and that William also made my effing skin crawl. My skin effing crawl. Okay. The relative also claimed the boys were abused in other ways as well. They were forced to stand in a corner after school for 8 hours straight. Wow. And William was seen slapping the younger son hard in the face, the relative said. They were just abused every possible way, the family member told Town Hall. Just don't forget me, Zachary pleaded with the relative at the end of one of the recorded phone calls from jail. Wow. Wow. Why did this person not tell? Why did this person not tell? Why did this relative not step up to the plate and not? Wow. And here's the last one that I've got right here. Adopted gay couple charged with sodomizing their adopted sons also pimped them out to local men and sent out videos of them raping the boys. Full horror of mysteriously wealthy couple sordid lives revealed in jaw-dropping court docs. Yeah, TB causes chaos. Myra and Ian, Fred and Rose. Zachary Zulock and his husband William are in jail on child sex abuse charges, and this was written January 2023. Not only did they rape their sons, police say they offered them to other men. They also sent videos of the abuse to 12 people, arrest documents claim. A mysteriously wealthy gay couple from Atlanta who have been charged with sodomizing their adopted sons also pimped them out to other men. Disturbing. Okay. Said Zachary Zulock and his husband William Dale Zulock Jr. were once the darlings of the LGBTQ scene in Georgia. Zachary worked in a local bank branch while William worked for a local government customer service center. But somehow the couple were raking in $7,500 a week. $7,500 a week. Oh wow! There are two infamous UK cases: Myra Henley and Rose West. They also built their dream home in an area where similar properties sell for $900,000. Friends and relatives are at a loss on how they made so much money. In August, the pair admitted a range of heinous sexual crimes, including rape and forcing their young sons to perform oral sex on them after a midnight raid on their home, during which one of the adults was hauled naked from the house. Now, thanks to an investigation by Town Hall, it has emerged that not only did the sick pair abuse the boys, they also stand accused of offering them up for other local men, too. That's probably where they got their money. This is Hunter Clay Lawless, 27, and Luis Armando Vizcarro Sanchez. They're also in custody. Lawless told police that Zulock offered their boys up to him multiple times. He was arrested after downloading a large amount of child porn that was traced by police to his Gmail address. Vizcarro Sanchez is in custody on a range of unrelated child sex crime allegations. Police say the Zulocks contacted him too. That's child abuse cases UK that most of us know about. I have to check into those cases. Hunter Clay Lawless, 27, and Luis Armando Vizcarro Sanchez, 25, were taken into custody on charges of soliciting an act of prostitution with both boys in August, but their names are only now being made public. It's unclear whether they ever met the boys or had any sexual interactions with them, but Lawless told police he was invited to the home multiple times by Zachary Zulock after meeting him through a friend on Grindr. Yeah, not easy to do that. I could figure out sometime on how to be able to reach you, and I could give you my email address so that you could end up sending me text on the names, because sometimes the uh, chat won't show back up after I put it on there. I think I'm going to take a quick screenshot of that so that I'll be able to have the names there. I got it. Okay. I screenshotted our chat so that I'm able to Look up that. Lawless told police Zulock contacted him through Snapchat, telling him he planned to F his son that night and warning him to expect videos of it. Cops found photos and videos of Zachary Zulock raping the boy on Lawless's phone and computer, according to the arrest documents. In one message, Zachary allegedly said, "I'm going to F my son tonight. Stand by." So there's so cook like dad. The couple built their dream house in Atlanta and rake in $7,500 a week, according to court filings. Well, and Richard Huckle. Okay, I get that. Pizarro Sanchez, the other local man, is also facing a string of unrelated child sex crimes. Lawless Liz mother and was shockingly released on a $25,000 bond after his August arrest. Vizcarro Sanchez is in custody on a range of charges. He is obsessed with anime and gaming, according to social media profiles, and stands accused of trying to coerce a 13-year-old relative into sex. It remains unclear what led police to the Zulocks, but a family member spoke to town hall about them at length. But we already know what led it to because of them downloading porn onto it, and so that's how they ended up even being caught with them because of them downloading child porn. That's why the Georgia Bureau of Investigation was called because of that. The relatives said they had concerns about the company the pair kept, especially around the boys. Before their August arrest, the pair lived a comfortable life in Atlanta thanks to Zachary's bank work. They also told relatives how they were given money by the state to pay for the children. The pair remain in custody, awaiting their next court date. Wow. That's all I got to say about that is wow. It's a horrendous story, isn't it? Well, I want to thank you for coming, excuse me, and keeping me company today. Yes, really appreciate what all you do. I got the names and recorded. Hindsight can't blame Yelson's efforts. But do risk embarrassment if concerned. Yeah, exactly. So I appreciate you and thanks for coming. And reach out anytime you like if you find me. I am at Facebook under the same name, Darlene J. Clark. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.